Good morning once again, back for a part 2 of this. Been pretty excited going through the menus here. Essentially I was just experimenting around with what he was saying about the different weapon and armor classes and things like that. So here's what I found, and like I was saying earlier, from a whole just history excitement perspective, I love this. Your armor actually helps avoidance in most cases. So your base armors here, so you got your cloth, your light, and your heavy right here. So the differences between them, yeah, the cloth, pretty much barely any defense, gives a little MP, gives a little resistance. You get to your lights, it's pretty moderate defense, gives some health bonus, gives some avoidance bonus, and then you get to your heavy stuff, and you get all your health, vitality, and defenses up. Weight-wise, there's a 4 difference between all of them, so reasonably significant. And what I really like to see here, a lot of the secondary armors actually give you avoidance abilities. So for example, the gloves, which are there for, you know, dex and kind of back row characters. Especially it seems like the leather ones are kind of made for more of a rogue or thief kind of thing, for going around and getting crits, because 15 luck is pretty darn significant for a basic item. Yeah, so it seems like that's what that's there for. Leggings help with avoidance, which, I mean, personally I would have loved to see that on the heavy armor too, but I see why it's not there. Just because, you know, it's armor, it helps you avoid stuff in general. It's not like it really weighs as much as people often think it does. I mean, hell, like, full suit of plate's like 40 pounds. It's still something you can easily move around in. So, accessories. These are... I want to say the original ones were like 5, and then the upgraded ones were 10s. So these start off at 10s right off the bat. The 2 starting necklaces are also seemingly a bit buffed. I want to say before these were about half of what they were, but I could be wrong on that one. Truth be told, I never really looked at the stats on these 2 very much. Okay, weapon-wise. 2-handers. I knew they were buffed. I didn't know they were this buffed. So, okay, let's compare, like, let's say a broadsword to a short sword here. Which, I mean, technically a broadsword was a one-hander, but whatever. Feels like that should be, I don't know, hand-and-a-half sword or something. Probably didn't want to mess with too many of the weapon names, but anyway, whatever, that's a whole other topic. So, okay. So, just damage-wise, already 10 higher. Comes with overpower, still has that stagger on there. So you're getting the same thing for opening up guys that you're hitting. Not as many things can use 2-handers this time around. It seems like it's mostly a Warrior and Dark Knight kind of setup, so that actually seems to make Dark Knights more of a thing. Also, apparently, the DKs are actually a lot more tanky now, so I'm excited to see that. We'll see where that goes down the line. Interestingly, it helps with agility for some reasons, so we'll see how that goes. The RT is a 10 difference. I mean, the weight is only 2, the weight difference is only 2, but you get a much bigger recovery time. Also gets a very significant slash bonus there. But yeah, so excited about those. Also, another thing I'm excited about, this next fight, I tested it out a little bit. It's actually very, very, very possible without grinding. Thank you, once again. Cannot thank you enough for that one, because I really hated grinding up for this fight. So I'm going to have Voltaire here as kind of the captain of my front line. He's got his 3 spear soldiers here. I replaced his hammer with that 2-hander, because, you know what, he's a friggin' captain there, he needs his giant sword. Also figure, you know what, he's pretty tanky. You can just take some blows on his armor. Let's see. My main guy here got his crossbow stuff upped pretty significantly with a ring. They all got rings. Sarah did 2. Josian got more of a defensive setup, as did Donalto, though I didn't have enough stuff to change him as much. But really, that's about it. But yeah, let's get on with this. Also, after moving around a few settings, it looks like this is finally stable. Alright. I usually offer not to harm this guy. He's gonna fight anyway. Well, whatever. And yeah, with the cheaper exorcisms going on, this is definitely a much easier fight. You don't have to waste a bunch of money on magic leaves and sit around waiting for your exorcists to recharge and, you know, wait for everyone to come to you. You can actually, you know, go forward and take the fight to them instead. I'm gonna do the usual approach here. Yeah, he's always a little bit short, so I'm gonna go there. Now the front line move in, have everyone move in behind them. Although it's kind of in the other order this way, but whatever, we'll pretend that's all happening at the same time. You move up. Yeah, Voltaire doesn't have any skill for his two-hander, but that's fine for now. I figure, you know, he'll just go around swinging enough damage. He's basically just got basic skills for his hammer anyway, so it hardly matters. Alright, we go up here, set up our line. That is not a very good chance to hit. I believe he is the one that doesn't have his spear skill, because I think it should be around 45-ish for the rest of them. So another thing I noticed during testing for this fight, you can definitely tell the differences between the armor defensive bonuses. So if we go to the equipment here, like where it shows how they're, you know, affecting different stuff, you can very readily tell that some weapons are going to go do a lot more damage than others. So I'm happy about this. Very happy about this. Oh yeah, this overhead menu almost doesn't lag sometimes. But oh well. Not going to be using that. You stay there. This is probably going to hit my own guy, but let's see what happens. Yeah, well, that's a shame. Good job. You got promoted to even more of a frontline guy. It's sometimes weird to tell where they're gonna go. Oh well, a little bit of a healing job for Jossian here. I probably should have given the claw to Vice instead of my Berserker. She's currently going and twiddling her thumbs behind the fight, but gave her the bronze claws. Jeez. 60 damage right at the start of the game. That is awesome. Finally, two-handers have a point. I really don't know what they were thinking with the balance of the original in so many aspects. I mean, I really can't imagine who looked at that whole thing and thought, you know, here's this weapon that used to be scary, let's nerf it to the point of near unusability. Like, I kept trying to find excuses to use it, and they just never came. Every single time, we'd just start noticing it's bouncing off stuff, it's just plain not doing anything. Oh well. They're good now. Oh, by the way, one thing I forgot to do last time, felt kind of like a dick about this afterwards, actually. So, the moderator that actually bumped this up to the front goes by the name of A Novel Idea. Thank you, man. Thank you. I'd never have seen this otherwise, because my dopey self probably would not have seen it. Because frankly, I had gone through this forum so many times I didn't even think to go back and look another time. I just figured it would be showing up at the top. And apparently this mod came out... Well, the most recent version came out recently, but... That sounds redundant, but it's not as redundant as it sounds. But yeah, no. The most recent version, I understand, came out recently, but the actual thread where it was being discussed was apparently buried way in the back there. But there didn't seem to be too many posts, so I don't really know how that happened. Doesn't particularly matter, I think. Because this goodness is up to the front now, and that's fantastic. Also, one thing I didn't mention earlier, whenever people are hit with different spell effects and such, you're probably noticing it's not a bug that they're getting the wrong element, they're actually getting the reverse of whatever they got hit by, which encourages a little bit more switching around and less specializing on one particular thing. as I've said before, another very nice change. That damage, though, it's wonderful. You're not doing like 10s and 20s the entire time. It's beautiful. Simply beautiful. This really feels, I would say, like a close little medium between the original TO and the GBA version, as well as like a skill and equipment rebalance that's closer to FFT. Love it. Alright, here we go. Stab this, folks, right here. Gonna get some exorcism going on. Probably get Mr. or Mrs. 3 count over here out of the way. Get some people down there. Because as usual with this fight, you just want to get a few people through their line, go take out their guy in the back. Skip a turn of healing to go get this lady out of the way. It might be more prudent to wait, but I don't feel like waiting. It's also nice to be able to actually stick some armor on your healers. Let them go do more of their whole monk thing. So they get access to light armors, they still don't get the heavies. And yeah, that works out fine. They're reasonably defensive. Gives more of a reason to use some of the armors that didn't really stick around much. I mean, honestly, especially stuff like leather, it seemed like everybody was changed to something else almost immediately. Which, honestly, if it wasn't for it being around in the series for ages, it would be kind of cool to see it change to something else, like, you know, Gambazon or something, but whatever. That doesn't matter, that's more of a game thing. Just gonna heal this guy because he can't get knocked down, he's just gonna run away. And he's at the front line, so he can do some punching. Bam! Dang. Yeah, he's hitting like a truck right now. If only I'd given him an actual weapon. But yeah, no, it's kind of funny. When I was first reading about, well, the whole thing with armors back in the day and whatnot, it actually, I'm surprised it never occurred to me of like, you know what, if anyone had actually gone for making leather armors, how many cows are they gonna have to go through? Because that is a major logistical concern. Alright, that seems like a good spot for a tremendous shot, which is finally not the ultimate spam move. It's such a slight adjustment, but does the job fantastically. Alright, he's gonna go get more bodyguards in here. Or only one, I guess. Well, I guess technically I only exercised one of them. They lost a bit of weight and their entire existence. No, I forget if she even has tremendous shot at this point, does she? No, she doesn't. Okay. Stab that guy. Yeah, I love this this whole swords giving stagger thing, and that I'm definitely going to keep two-handers on Voltaire. As he goes in, he opens them up, and then they go for the spears. It's just synergy. Finally, synergy. Beautiful. Just beautiful. I mean, especially stuff like, well, axes and fists, I would assume, would go together great as a DPS combo. You have, probably have one Berserker with Berserk going up to the front, you know, getting breach on a bunch of people. You have somebody else going in, getting poison on them all. I get that. Well, actually, you could probably combine Stagger with it, too. Alright, well, anyway, I don't want Voltaire going down, so I'm just gonna pop a heal on him real quick. Get him them drugs right quick here. It's okay, it's all legal. There we go. I'm gonna risk it putting my healer up to the front here. She's got a little bit of light armor on her. I think she'd be alright taking a couple of hits. Because right now the frontliners are basically getting the hell beat out of them. Actually doing much better than last time, since when I was doing this in testing I hadn't upgraded anyone's equipment, so I was just using the same base stuff that they had before. and it was less than stellar. Now, for the sake of my whole pikeman formation idea here, eventually I'm probably gonna actually have them all going for light armor instead of heavy. It seems to help their avoidance pretty significantly, so if they're, you know, up there just dodging stuff all the time, I'm not gonna say no to that. More exercise, work them glutes. Ace. There we go. So yeah. I love that that's even a mental consideration right now. Love it. Like, original, it was like, okay, what kind of skills can I possibly just stick on these guys to make them go one-shot everything as early as possible? And how many shutdown moves can we put together? And that was the only consideration, because the other stuff didn't even matter. I mean, you had a couple archers, that's it. There was no more challenge for the rest of the game, because they were always going to overpower everything. You know, you had, I'm gonna go down here and get this guy for some more loot. I don't really think I need him in the front line anymore. But yeah, so you had a couple archers, didn't even matter. They were fast, they were defensive, they put out damage like a friggin' artillery barrage from the back of your lines there. I mean, there's some maps that they can hit clear across the entire map and just one-shot things. It was stupid, for lack of any even slightly more appropriate way to put it. So I do appreciate that there's a point in having frontliners now. They're going to be acting a lot faster than your ranged units. Yeah, it doesn't really work for realism, but except for crossbows, which, by the way, have a pretty significant recovery time on them. But balance-wise, perfect. Just absolutely perfect. It also seems like there's a better place for one-handed, for light crossbows and bows. Since, well, it seems like they're buffed pretty significantly now, so your old, like, sword and bow combo, that worked pretty well through a lot of Night of Lotus. That's apparently making a comeback. I haven't tested that yet, but it seems like it should be pretty darn good. It also was pretty good in the original TO, but they got plinky super fast. Alright, he is a bit more threatened this time around. Last time when I was testing this, he just kind of came down to the front. Okay, check out all my magic powers, and then he died. Turns out that's not a good idea for a squishy old man. Smack you? No. Out of curiosity, what kind of weapons, or what kind of armor are you wearing? Alright. Chain and leather. Or, chain and leggings. So that makes sense. That'll be enough to glance off a stick. It always was a little frustrating in the original to see when somebody would go and smack somebody with a huge friggin' staff. Like, oh, 2 damage. That's it. It can't do more than that. Unless you get a kill move, then it can do like 100. That was so weird. Like, literally the one used for clerics and, well, I guess one of 2 uses for clerics in the Catch-22 run I had put together, which I guess that's on permanent hiatus now, because who needs it anymore? But the whole idea for that, they basically just got a stick and smacked each other in the back lines for a while until they got their cudgel skill up super high, and then they could be an evasion tank. And everybody went for them because they were squishy. So that's just kind of what they did. And yeah, in many cases, I just had a cleric sitting on one of the flanks, and they would all go for that cleric. And they would just sit there blocking blows with their stick all day like some kind of crazy kung fu guy. It was pretty cool. It was janky as crap, but it was pretty cool. I am super glad that this exists. I can't stop saying it. It's too good to stop saying it. Alright. At least we got a couple people to the front lines, but they're going to start getting ripped into pretty quick here. Down goes Donalto, so there's our frontline exorcism abilities. Well, no, actually, I have Jazine up there, too. That's fine. He was actually the back line at the front. He's okay, sometimes I don't see stuff that's right in front of me. Alright. Bye-bye, Leonard. That's kind of telling for the future. Oh, buddy, you made a mistake. You stood next to the executioner. And it seems like we actually do have to kill him, not just get him to critical health. It feels like it's a change. Because I'm pretty darn sure, at least in some versions of it, he just had to get down to crit. Doesn't matter, though. Doesn't matter at all. Alright, that's fine. You know what? I like that more than I should. Got hit with acid rain there. Turned him into lightning averse. He got all wet from that rain. Okay, this is not actually how it's viewing it, but he got wet from the acid rain, now he's weak to lightning. To be fair, he was probably weak to that before, but that's another story. I'm trying to over-justify a thing that needs no justification. Bye-bye, Teresa. Eat the dirt, please. It is very tasty and nutritious and has all your vitamins and minerals, and you know, why don't you just knock this guy off? I would like to see one, well, actually, I don't really know how this would be implemented. I've always wanted to see, like, a push ability on the spears. Kind of like how shields have, because that's one of the main reasons I like using sword and board guys, because you can go and slap people off ledges, and it's hilarious to watch. There we go. Yes. Bye-bye, Nibbeth. Ooh, got a Pelta. I've been too cheap to buy one, so that's there now. Oh, I should also mention, the shop requirements are a little bit lower this time around. They actually allow for getting all of the Damask stuff right at the very end of the game, so you don't have to go into Coda crap to actually get it. Now, who's getting this Pelta? Thank you. What is he? Oh, you can't even use it. Okay, that's different. So I guess Pelta counts as a heavy shield now. Alright. Fair enough. Wow, that is a big friggin' thing there. So 12 defense off it, 29 health, 4 extra on the weight, but it has the same recovery time. But it loses the avoidance bonus. Alright, so can you use it? No. Do I have anyone that can actually use it? Vice can. Which is fine, because Vice needs his defense. Why does that not... Oh, because it's stacking off the other shield, that's why. Alright, so looking alright. What are we doing skill-wise? You got spears, you got spears, you got spears. Why do I think one of you didn't have it? Also, wow, that is a lot of points they're getting. That is significantly more points than before. Unless I'm missing something here. Oh well. You get two-handers, because those turned out to be just baller as hell. Also, doesn't seem... Oh, that's because he's not a knight, that's why he can't use it. I think I might actually have her switch over to sidearms. Because while bows are awesome, I really want to test out sidearms. So... we'll see. What you fisting dudes? Don't know, but I definitely want you getting Augment Light. Cudgels, I don't plan on having to use those anytime soon, but you're going to be mostly a healer. Alright, you. So, one thing I also forgot to mention last time, because that list is just going to grow endlessly, because there's so many changes to this. You know what you don't see on here? Strength and Fortify and friggin' True Strike and all that crap. Knockback is still here, Counter is still here, Weight is still here. But the skill tree is finally freed up. So those don't exist. Great. This thing is just too beautiful to exist. That's what's going on here. Ooh, dragon magic for her. I don't know what that's gonna do exactly, because I don't believe I have any books for it, but pretty sweet. And let's have you do augment light also. Also gotta appreciate that you can get augments right off the bat. You can start training them early, because that's their main use early on. Let's see, you, I think I'm just gonna go for augment. Oh, you doing fists? I don't want you doing fists. Yes. Yes, I do. Mostly because she's called a monk, I want her doing monk stuff. There we go. This should be pretty darn good. No, I might have myself go for sidearms. I usually like using crossbows on them, but maybe a mix of one-handed crossbows and sidearms? Alright, this is gonna be the worst friggin' recovery time ever, but I wanna do it. And Freya. Let's save up for Berserk. Or no, counter. You can get counter right off the bat! Yes! Okay. What else? You. You guys get counter, you guys get counter. You guys get counter. Yes! Counter for all the frontline folks. Go back to the old Knight of Lotus formation. Zervi Goat. Yep. Alright. Beautiful. Alright, give that an old save. Corpse Dancer title. Then some plot happens. That's nice. Hi, Leonard. How weird do you look? Nah, he's the same. Thought he might have gotten a different sprite. Nice. Tanky, what are your skills looking like? Strengthen doesn't exist, but he still has it. Interesting. Yeah, bye-bye Strengthen. Will that be assigned? Yeah, so Strengthen is gone. I guess some of them are just gonna have it now. Well, betas and such. Actually, can this guy learn anything? No. No, he can't. He's pretty spent on points. Neither can this guy. Well, you know, that's fine. That is very fine. Time to go to Goborzo. Probably should have checked the store. I don't need much healing, so I'm gonna pocket you for a moment, put Carolyn in. Would swap out my frontliners, but I don't want to. Yeah, so, you know, I think I'm probably gonna have to call it apart here in just a minute. I'm just about on 30 minutes. Yep. Alright, so... yeah, I'm gonna call it here. This little one's waking up, so, yeah. Back with another part soon.